little bit of background so that the folks that levied accusations as far as some sort of collusion between the council and the tribe to choose this site occurred. In 2011, when the tribe was seeking federal re-recognition and having their woodland put into trust, we challenged that in court, not to question the validity of their sovereignty, but to say that we recognize this as a precursor to a potential casino development, and should that happen within or without our city, if it impacts our city, we ought to be able to sit down on the negotiating table and make sure that you are paying your, quote, fair share of those impacts. That was codified in an agreement that has now been realized after negotiations with this memorandum of understanding. That's what we're discussing tonight, is whether or not our staff and the tribe have done their job in a good faith effort to sit down and address impacts that will be created by this project should it move forward, which is not our decision. And if so, does that meet the mitigation? I think they've gone above and beyond, as was mentioned, as far as what they will provide. And I just want to call out specifically some of those items because I don't know that they were mentioned directly. So for roadway improvements, 15% of the total payment of almost $10.5 million is considered an additional contribution above what is required to mitigate for traffic impacts of the project. You would not get that out of a regular development project. Community facilities, $2 million. This payment is not required for mitigation of the project, but is an additional voluntary payment of the tribe to the community. That is something that hopefully they'll get a credit from the state that recognizes that they're being a good community partner. Police and code enforcement service, $1.5 million annually with the 2% inflationary adjustment. 60% of the total payments are considered direct mitigation to address both on-reservation and off-reservation potential crime impacts, while the remaining 40% is considered an additional contribution made for the purpose of providing additional and improved services to the residents of the city. You would not get that out of a regular project. Roadway maintenance, $500,000 annually. That is probably a makeup for lost taxes because no other development project continues paying for roadway maintenance once they've already developed. General mitigation, city tax revenue in lieu, starts out at $2 million a year and has a 2% escalation that in year 5 it will be beyond $2.5 million. The payments shown are meant to offset the loss of tax revenue. So this project is not taking, would not take, this off of the city's tax rolls. It would make up for that as this in lieu. $400,000 annually with the 2% inflationary adjustment to the Elk Grove Unified School District. Again, this may be a makeup for property tax, but no other development would continue paying school fees after they've already developed. $100,000 annually with a 2% inflationary adjustment to nonprofit organizations. Again, no other project would contribute to nonprofits at a one-time fee or an annual fee. So my estimation then is that as far as the task that was set before staff and the tribe is that they negotiated a fair, equitable, and I think acceptable agreement should this project move forward. Now to the larger issue of my role as a city council member in the overall approval of this project. Let me start this by saying I am a patriot. I believe in America. I am a proud American. That being said, like any other man-made construct, America is not perfect. And it's imperfect as the people who have made it. And we've had some things in our history that we cannot undo and we cannot change, and we have to live with the repercussions thereof. Slavery, height of human atrocity that we're still feeling repercussions in our society from, perhaps more in today's climate than in my lifetime. Japanese internment during World War II, height of xenophobia in our country that I hope is never repeated, although we are dangerously close to going back there. But perhaps the most arrogant, if not egregious thing we have ever done is the Western world coming as explorers and settlers and marching across inhabited land and thinking it was free for the taking. This process has been set in place by the federal government and by the state government to recognize the sovereignty of a people who had their livelihood, their land, their lifestyle stolen from them. Therefore, my job is not to say I approve of how they want to better their lives or disapprove. It's to get the hell out of the way. And I will approve this MOU and do just that.